Watch this episode of my podcast by heading to my All the Rage with Shelley Wade channel on YouTube. And while you're there, subscribe, like, and comment. Prefer your podcasts with audio only? Got you covered there as well. Subscribe to my All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts. Hey guys, it's Shelley Wade. Welcome to my All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast, your dose of pop culture and positivity. I'm really happy to be hanging out with my friend Cheryl Duncan today on the podcast. Now, not just because she's my friend, but because she can give us some advice on working from home, since so many of us are doing that right now. You know, Cheryl, this feels to me like because everybody's self-distancing and self-quarantining, and they are Skyping and FaceTiming and Zoom calling with their friends. And I feel like that's what we're doing right now.
Exactly. And we should probably do that on the regular
when we're not on the podcast. So Cheryl is, I'll say legendary because you're so fabulous at it, PR person. And Cheryl, can you let everybody know, what kind of things you do as a PR expert? You actually have your own boutique PR agency called the Cheryl Duncan Company.
Cheryl Duncan and Company. We do PR, particularly in entertainment. We're very much in that kind of culture space, and we do like a lot of we do a lot of public television, or also we do theater, some music, live performance, art, some books as well.
I find that a lot of people don't know exactly what public relations means. Can you explain that to people really quickly?
Sure. So basically in public relations, we're getting people known and in the public eye. A lot of what we do involves contacting the press to let them know what you're doing, to kind of try to break you out or keep you in the news, that kind of thing. Or sometimes even handling if you get in the news for the wrong thing, we may have to come in the crisis mode and handle it that way as well.
You're a fixer like Olivia Pope.
Well, we can be. It's not I prefer to work with people who don't need fixing, but that's just me.
So the reason I wanted to have you on the podcast is because you actually have been working from home for a lot of years when you started your own PR agency, and you released a really cool piece of advice to your clients about how to work from home. And I thought that we could share that with everyone because, a lot of people are kind of going a little stir crazy in the house. And so you had some really great ideas. So let's start with that. Let me put on my eyes here. So the first thing you said is to take comfort in the familiar. What do you mean when you say that?
Well, it's very unsettling what's happening externally, and the fact that you're kind of now suddenly working from home where you're not really used to that. And but the good thing about it is it's not like you're exiled someplace else. You're around your stuff. I mean, you picked your stuff. You like your stuff. So it's like a measure of comfort. You're not even like on a business trip, and can't get sick or something. You're in familiar surroundings. So, I'm just kind of urging people to kind of just like lean into that and really, kind of enjoy the fact that you are around your own things and you're in, it's not, you're in a familiar place.
Yeah, because ideally, whether we're in our vehicles or whether we're at our desks in our office, it's a little miniature version of your home, or it should be. But from home, you're in your home, so you have the biggest version of that, right?
Exactly. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Your second piece of advice: find a place to work and get work tools together. What does that mean?
Well, you're now working from home, so you have to kind of take it seriously. So essentially, you need to set yourself up in a place, and this is the place that you work from. You don't work from all around you don't bring the laptop to your bed. You don't, that's kind of a bummer.
You're saying I shouldn't get that pint of ice cream? Well, I shouldn't get that pint of ice cream and just take my laptop and sit in front of the TV and kind of glance over at the TV sometimes.
Do that after work. Just keep your desk as your personal space. But no, pick a place in your house and stick with that so that you associate it with work, and that so you don't associate every place in your place as work. It helps you to it helps me at least to compartmentalize that. And it's very rare that I will work from like the couch or something like that. I have to like only if I'm like I just finished doing tax prep, which is like an ordeal. So in weekends and stuff like that, and camping out practically. But so I do that on the couch because I need some space or whatever. But for the most part, I work at my desk, and that's it.
Luckily, you have time now since tax day has been pushed back to July. Exactly. So hopefully.
But I did my part of it, so I'm happy that. That's just like the biggest ordeal. It's like when you do a year's worth of accounting in like a couple of weeks. So.
So how long would you say you've been working from home now? How many years?
I would say since like about 2001. So it's been a while,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of experience with this, so it's perfect that you're giving us advice on to be most productive working from home. Your third piece of advice: decide what your schedule is.
Right. Yes, because you want to. There's a couple pieces of advice that I'm giving that are do as I say, not as I do. And this is one of them. But that I just work all the time is basically what I'm trying to get across. But it really is good for you to say, okay, I'm starting at this time, and to kind of keep it seriously, because one of the big problems I think that there is from working from home is just being disciplined, and, it's like sometimes, you might you're in your own space. So you have that big pile of laundry that's just kind of like, oh boy, I really should get to that. But you're right now. So you're going to have to leave that until after hours or before hours, One of the things that I find that I have to do, I don't like a lot of disorder. So basically I put aside some time to clean or straighten things in the morning before I get started. So it's the first thing that I do at the top of the day. But, and then I get started doing my actual work. I try to get the personal stuff, kind of out of the way a little bit and then get going.
Okay, so decide what your schedule is. What if I decide I want my schedule to be 10 a.m. to noon? What do you think about that?
Just that might be something you would do, Shelley, but that's not really going to be fair to your employer now, isn't it? They're going to be looking for more hours. They're going to be looking for when they can reach you, and so you should just kind of stick to that, because you only have yourself in a sense to be accountable for, but those emails will start stacking up otherwise.
Okay. So your fourth piece of advice: watch your neck.
Yeah.
Your laptop on that.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't have the proper setup. So if you're just kind of like, oh, I'm working from home suddenly, you probably have your laptop set up so you're kind of like looking down on it, and I started having chiropractic issues, and my chiropractor had suggested that I get a stand for my laptop and an external like keyboard and mouse. So I have like the laptop lifted up so that I'm looking at it directly. And so that's a much better thing. Or what you could do if you feel like you're going to be working from home for a while is, I actually have a whole monitor. So I have my laptop hooked up to a monitor, and so that I could have like a bigger screen. But I don't look down on it because that can create problems.
Okay. And so your next piece of advice, separate your personal stuff. That sounds, self-explanatory, but do break it down for us.
Yes. The issue is that, now all the parts of your life are kind of like piled on top of each other, and you want to really separate out. You have your work stuff here, you have your desk, you have your work stuff, and you have your personal stuff. And even if you need to have it on your desk, it's a separate place that you can go to. You always know where to find things, and it's, you're going to have to maintain the boundaries, just like I said, don't work on the bed, you have to, and otherwise, kind of maintain these boundaries. You need to keep your personal, keep your personal hours separate from your business hours as well. It's you got to keep the discipline in yourself.
The sixth piece of advice, unfortunately, you're now custodial services as well.
Yeah. Exactly. So there are all these little services that you have in your office building that you do not have when you're at home. It's just you. So you're going to have to do those things. As I said, I do like to do those things in the morning, but you have to start thinking you're not just, your security. If there's a security issue, it's not. If there's an IT problem, you're the IT director too. So or you have to, you're gonna have to be in touch with your office's IT thing. But there's all these different things that you have to just kind of keep in mind that you're now responsible for. So yeah.
Okay, the seventh piece of advice, too quiet. Figure out whether listening to music, TV, or podcast is a distraction or not. First of all, I'd like to say that listening to the All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast would definitely not be a distraction. Let's just put that out there right now.
Exactly. And where might one find the All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast?
Wherever you consume your podcasts. Apple Music podcasts, iHeartRadio podcasts, wherever you consume your podcasts is where you can find All the Rage with Shelley Wade. Also, you can find it on YouTube, my All the Rage with Shelley Wade page on YouTube. Like and subscribe to all of it. So I have to say that if I'm doing something, I don't want a lot of distraction in the background. My sound machine with my ocean is good enough. Maybe some music really low. I know a lot of people would be surprised with me saying that because I'm such a music fan, but I don't know. I just don't like a lot of distraction. What about you? What's your style?
Well, I really prefer to have some noise in the background. I don't like when it's completely silent. But I do find if I do a lot of writing, and when I'm writing, it has to be quiet. Otherwise I can't really think. But normally have either the TV on in the background or have, music on, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to figure out what works for you. A lot of people, are used to having like the hustle and bustle of the office, and there's a certain din that's always happening, and there are people around and stuff like that. So it can start to get to feel lonely. And so, if that happens, that's why I just turn on some TV usually in the background. I really don't watch a lot of television, but I listen to a gosh darn lot of it.
Do a lot of it. Your eighth piece of advice, social networking can be great, but it can suck you into a vortex. Let us know how you feel about that.
So, when you're at work in an office, you have people looking over your shoulder sometimes or coming in your office or whatever. So you probably are a little bit better at, kind of staying on point on that. But I find I because of what I do in PR, I actually need to do social networking a lot. It's probably like the primary way that I promote my business. Or sometimes I'm trying to find, somebody's name or, find some specific piece of information. And the next thing you're like, oh my gosh, they did what? And then it's like, you can get just totally sucked in. You can get sucked into a fight. You can get sucked into whatever. So you really have to kind of go, okay, what am I here for? Like, let me go in and out. Otherwise, it starts to accumulate the amount of time when you go in there. I can't tell you how many times and you'll just go from one thing to the other thing to the other thing. And then you're like, wait a minute. Sometimes I don't even remember what I went on the social network for, So I don't know. I'm going to start writing it down so I at least can glance. Oh yeah. I'm looking for that because it's
I can't tell you. I'm so happy you said that because it makes me. I'm like, is this old age or something? What is it? Well, I pick up my phone and I forget why I picked it up. But you're so right. You can go down the rabbit hole very quickly with social media, right?
Well, they also, they prey on that. Like they pay people big money to make sure that you do that, so you stay on the social networks. But you can't fall into the traps anyhow.
And so as we're all self-distancing, self-quarantining, we can start to feel a little bit lonely, especially as you and we live alone, you know? Um, what are your ideas on how people can overcome that?
By the way, thanks for.
I hold my single flag up very bravely. I'm fine with it.
No, you're talking about, we're thinking about it in two different ways. But anyhow, let's just move
You're
on.
thinking about safety-wise. Sorry. My apologies.
It's okay. Anyhow, so yeah, you have to.
She's alone, but with her really strong boyfriend.
Thank you. So it was kind of mean. The thing is, you have to realize that technology, can keep you connected with people. I find that a lot of people with the self-quarantining that we're doing right now, I've had more Zoom calls, Skypes, et cetera, than I've ever had. Like in this, it's been kind of crazy. So you have to realize that this is something, as somebody who has my own firm, but, and I have, an employee, and I have consultants that work for me from time to time, but sometimes you need somebody to bounce something off of, and so I kind of like purposefully kind of create a network of people that I can bounce things off of. So, you could just reach out and touch, and it'll help with that as well. If the TV in the background isn't doing it for you.
Cheryl can attest to the fact that I bounce things off of her a lot, don't I? I really, I just feel like you're such a great ideas person. And Cheryl also really knows me well as a person and my brand and professionally. And I just feel like you're the first person I think about when I want to bounce things off of someone, to get ideas about my creative life. And so, yeah, I completely understand what you're saying about needing to bounce things off of people, because I always say two heads work better than one, and teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly. One of my clients says that all the time. Hi, Jonathan.
So, I want to remind people to take the social distancing walks too, right?
Yeah, because it can be crazy. It's kind of a weird thing in one way, because I work from home, so I can often be working from home and not leave for a day or two, sometimes even 3 days. But it's a totally different thing psychologically when you have this feeling like you can't leave. And it's not that you can't leave. You can, I can go out for walks, at least in New Jersey. We can go out for walks still for exercise. But it's kind of a different thing. You do have to kind of get away from the computer from time to time, and just kind of like reset for a minute. Then you can hop back on with fresh ideas and fresh perspective.
Yeah. Just a reminder, because we are all social distancing and self-quarantining with this current coronavirus reality we have right now. And Cheryl is a PR person, and she decided to give some pieces of advice to her clients as to how you can deal with working from home, because so many more people are doing it. Cheryl's been working from home for so many years. We are almost at the bottom of your list. You say learn to stop. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. Okay. So you're working from home, and you can it's different when you're going to an office and it's like quitting time and you can get up and leave, even if you work a little bit late, right? That's one thing. But when you're home and the work is sitting right in front of you at all times, you can get to the point where you're just like, okay, just one more thing. Okay, just one more thing. Yeah. And because now it's like 10 o'clock at night. So you have to also put your discipline. You have to have discipline on starting, on working, and then on saying, okay, that's enough for today. I have done enough for today, and I can leave everything else until tomorrow and pick it up then.
Okay.
So,
and your final piece of advice: don't forget to ditch the pajamas. Wait. Full disclosure: as soon as I come into my place, I am stripping off all my clothes and putting on my gown or pajamas. So it's a little hard for me to ditch the pajamas because I feel so comfy in them. Why do you suggest that?
Well, actually, I mean, to tell you the truth, I was kidding because I'm one of those people I mean, that concept is just completely foreign to me. I'm like I'm usually in street clothes until it's time to go to bed. But I'm slowly starting to feel like, jeans are too hard. I think I need some yoga pants. And I feel like I'm on that slippery slope to becoming one of these PJ people just like you. But no, to be honest.
Wait a minute. Slippery slope into turning into me? I'm not sure if I like how that sounds, slippery slope.
No, you got to realize it's like a strange thing for me. It's really strange. But I am starting to feel like that. I mean, a lot of people, like when they're doing Skype calls, you never know what they have on the bottom. I actually really recently posted on social media, like all these journalists that are like, doing their stories from home. I wonder what I want everybody to have to stand up before the end to see if they're not
what they have on or what don't they have on.
I'm going on down there. Anyhow, yeah, it's funny. I mean, wear what you want to wear. Be comfortable. There's so many people that are on social media talking about how they're not wearing their bras or they're no makeup. So you can also take advantage of the fact that you are home. You don't have to dress to impress yourself. So be comfortable. It's fine.
Okay. So I guess we've been having a Corona conversation with my friend, PR person extraordinaire, Cheryl Duncan, inside my All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast. I have what I like to call the quarantine question. So can we get into those quick fire questions and answers with you?
Sure.
Putting you on the spot here. So what was that?
If you're not going to embarrass me, I'm always the one behind the scenes, so it's like I'm always the one like say these things, and so I'm very rarely interviewed. It's a very strange thing. Since the beginning of the year, there's been like several people that either want me, can you come talk to my class? Can you come talk to my group? Can you do these podcasts? So it's this is not my comfort zone at all. Anyhow,
I can't wait to hear your answers. First quarantine question. What does a typical day in quarantine look like for you?
Oh, that's interesting. It's very similar to every other day because, like I say, I work from home all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just more like you shouldn't go out. The only thing that I will say is that this weekend I just had to, because of the whole situation and, the impacts on business and especially seeing the impacts on clients, it's, and I work a lot with artists. It's kind of upsetting to see other people go through things as well. This weekend I had to just kind of take, the entire weekend off. I don't know that I went, I think I went out for a little bit just to get some food. And then I just was home. I watch a lot of stand-up comedy, I have to say. I've seen a lot of Netflix stand-up comedy specials. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't see that already. And then I'm like cooking, I'm doing more cooking, obviously, and
so
stuff like that. Yeah.
So am I. I've been making some masterpieces. I've been in the kitchen making some masterpieces.
Yeah. Wait. And I also did start doing this painting project. I resumed, so I've been painting every morning.
Okay, you mean as in painting your apartment or painting an art a piece of artwork? Yeah,
like serious painting. I'm gonna have to because I'm gonna run out of paint, and I'm like one of those people when I have these little unfinished tasks, it annoys me.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm gonna have to and Home Depot is still open, but I swear everybody, I'm not gonna go out and get some paint, but I'm gonna really want to.
Yeah, no. Only essential travel. Okay, quarantine question number 2. What kinds of meals have you been making?
Oh, okay. So I made a Tuscan salmon dish, and
great.
Spaghetti. I don't know. I just started cooking this fall. I mean, this last weekend. trying to think what else did I make? You know, I've been making breakfast. Oh, I did make muffins. I did make banana nut muffins today.
That sounds good. Okay. What shows have you been binging, and what movies have you watched on quarantine?
I haven't really binged any shows. I've watched, as I said, a lot of stand-up comedy. I watched the Dave, I think I'm Rock special, Dave Chappelle, and a few other people that I wasn't. To be honest, the thing that I realized, because I'm like a comedy head. I love, like, if it's like my birthday, that's what I want to do. But there's a lot of dark comedians, and I know that that's kind of known, but I can't have that right now. It's like, I just, no.
You need some happiness in your life. You need some happiness. Yeah, we all need it. We all need that positivity. We need some rainbows and unicorns in here. So what's the item? You know, there's so many things that people can't get right now. So what's the item that you most want but have had a hard time getting during the coronavirus pandemic, excuse me?
Water.
Okay.
Somebody help. No, water. That it's like, it's just been consistently out. I can't get it delivered, so it's that kind of thing. I have a neighbor that I'm about to call on, but my water storage. I know people are, like, you know, talking about people, you know, hoarding and stuff like that, and I don't feel like I'm hoarding, but it does make me want to hoard because I know this item is out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the next time I go, I want to get, like, a lot of it. So
it seems to me that the TP is more of an issue than water. It's like people can't get toilet paper, but I mean, yeah, but water seems readily available. At least it seems that way to me.
I think it must be where you are. You know, it took me a while to find disinfecting wipes too. That was kind of crazy too. So then I found it, and I couldn't find alcohol. There were some things that were out, but you know, TP I'm usually pretty stocked up on, so I just have bought some more, but I'm good in that department. Yeah.
All right, quarantine question number 5, numero 5. What music is on your quarantine playlist?
You know, I really haven't been listening to that much music, to be honest. I've been more watching things and listening to things. I've unfortunately been, even though I'm watching much less news, I'm watching way more press conferences these days just to find out what's going on. Although I didn't watch them all today. I have like a little bit of routine where I watch, you know, Governor Cuomo, and then I'll watch the president, and then I'll check in on the New Jersey governors online, you know, to see so I can find.
You have a press list what do I want to schedule? You have a press list schedule.
But you know, because I want to know what the latest is. But at this point, it's sort of like, you know, I just need the top things. I think I really actually feel much more. I find that watching them and finding out that people are actually doing things is actually comforting. So normally I wouldn't watch that much news, but I do feel like it's pretty comforting to know, okay, well, we're doing this. Okay, this is the problem. Okay, you know, it kind of gives some focus. Okay, so the problem is ventilators. Okay, that, you know, that's the problem. I don't know. It helps me. I know other people that can't watch it at all.
So, on a very human level, Cheryl, how does the coronavirus reality make you feel?
It makes me feel a little like uncertain because the thing about the germ is because it is invisible. You're like, you know, I'll like wash my hands, and then like I'll, you know, open a doorknob to do, and it's like, wait, I opened the doorknob, I think I have to wash my hands again. You know? And at a certain point, you're sort of like, am I being, you know, irresponsible? Because I just don't want to wash my hands again. I just washed them like twice in the last like 2 seconds. Yeah. So it just makes me a little bit, that makes me worried. You know, I'm worried a little bit about my dad, you know, I'm far away from him. And so I'm just hoping he's doing the right things. He just texted me and saying that they had this hour that senior citizens can go in the morning, and that there were like about 100,000 senior citizens that were there, and the shelves were picked through, and that kind of makes me worry. I wouldn't worry so much. I don't know. I wouldn't worry so much if it wasn't for like, oh, they don't have goods there either. So that bothers me a bit. And then I also it's a weird thing because I'm one of those people, like I helped at Ground Zero, and I've helped in some of these. Yeah, I actually helped, I feel like, quite a bit during that time. But this isn't one of those things where you can go out and help your neighbor. I've gone to, like, when people have gone into the hospital, I've gone into the hospital and helped them and stuff like that. And so I feel a little bit like, out of sorts, because I would normally be doing something. So I'm actually trying to help one of my clients to feed kids. So that's something I'm going to be able to do, to help with, but remotely. And so I'm not exactly sure how successful I'll be at that, but it makes me feel like I'm at least doing something to help somebody else in this time.
It is a difficult time if you're a person that's prone to volunteering. Because they are urging us to self-distance and not to be around. And so it's hard to find ways to help, but I am encouraged when I see those stories where people are finding ways to help the elderly and the homeless and people who don't have as much food. It is encouraging. We just need to we need to be very creative in the ways we figure out how we can do it.
Right.
So it is a concern. I was thinking about that the other day. I want to be of service, but how do you do it when, like, I would like to help the elderly, but I feel like I don't want to, what if I'm secretly carrying the virus and I don't know it, and I subject them to it,
Right.
And so you just really have to be concerned, but I think we have to find creative ways, and I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
So the final quarantine question, Cheryl, what's the first thing you're going to do when this quarantine life is over?
Oh, wow. I'm probably going to get a bunch of my friends together and we're going to go for comedy. It was one of the things that I did, because my birthday was shortly before, like, things started shutting down. Mm-hmm. And for sure I want to go again, just because even when I went that time, I was a little bit like, am I exposing myself or not? We weren't on shutdown, but I could feel it was coming. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd love to do that. And the other thing I'm dying, two more things. I'm dying to have a luxurious brunch, like just where you're there and the people like want to turn the table and you're like they want to like get out,
Uh-huh.
Just like, I want to have one of those. I'll tip,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm dying to go to the movies. That's once this started breaking, but before we were on lockdown, I really wanted to go sit in the movie theater, but and then shortly I checked again and it was like shut.
Yeah, I was reading the headline last weekend where they were like the first weekend ever where the box office was zero. It's like, whoa, what? Yeah, because we can't go and sit and congregate in the movie theaters,
Crazy. And I love movies, so that's difficult for me.
Yeah. Cheryl is one of those kind of people. Ever since I've known you, she has to, before the Oscars air, she has to go to the movies to see every one of the nominees.
Best picture, best director, best actor, best actress, best supporting actor, best supporting actress. And if I have time, the best original screenplay and the best adapted screenplay. So yeah, I'm kind of into it. It's like my Super Bowl, and closer to the Oscar broadcast, I will have like 3. Okay, I got to see this at such and such time, 12:15. Then I have to break for lunch. Okay, so then at 3 o'clock I have, and I might have 3 films that I'm seeing in one day.
Listen, before we end the podcast, I wanted to ask you about this as well, because we were, mentioning that you own your own PR company. You're an entrepreneur, small business owner. A lot of businesses, big and small, are really feeling the effects of this self-quarantining. How are things for you, and how concerned are you?
Well, I'm certainly hoping that I'm staying optimistic, and I'm certainly hoping that this is going to change soon. I lost a significant amount of business in like a week and a half. It was just like, boom. But I also do have other clients that, because the reason I lost those things is that I do a lot of PR for arts events. And so about 2.5 weeks ago, I was like, hey, wait a minute. There aren't going to be any events.
Yeah.
And so, slowly, one by one, things have fallen off.
Mm-hmm.
Have specialties and things that aren't event related, like television and stuff like that. So I'm, promoting more for those kind of projects. And so, and I do have other projects that aren't specifically related to events, luckily. So I'm in better shape. I even have, to be honest, I'd like to get like a lot more work in, because I know other people that are freelancers that work with me, but also have their own clients, and they're also hurting. And so I would love to be able to pull some other people back in, on projects that I do as well. So
yeah, it's just this domino effect, right? It's just really devastating everyone.
Yeah. I mean, the events, I know a lot, people that are in the events field, that's really been very difficult. Like actually event planners, obviously those of us who do PR for events, but, it's also the artists that, are doing things, I'm working on a show that's transferring to Broadway, and, Broadway was completely shuttered. And so that, we don't know like when that's going to pick back up and stuff like that. So it is what it is. I mean, the thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to get bummed about it. I'm just going to continue to do something effective every day. All throughout the day, I'm going to be doing effective things. I'm going to be servicing my clients for blood. And I'm just not going to get into the woe is me of it all. It is what it is.
Cheryl, all of a sudden I can't see you for some reason. Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I love that positive outlook. And I really am so appreciative to all of the workers, all of the helpers, everyone in the medical field, everyone in the hospitals, everyone, all the, listen, all the people in the stores. When I go, I'm first I felt sorry that the people in the stores had to be working with the public when we're all trying to self-distance. But then the more and more I go to the store and I talk to the workers, they actually want to be working. There are a lot of people that want to be working. They have to pay their bills,
right.
Want to feel like they have a purpose, and they feel like they're helping to serve the community in our time of need. I feel appreciative for the people working in restaurants. They have their restaurants closed, but they're still trying to serve us and feed us. And aren't they still delivering mail? Aren't the post office workers still working? I mean, and all of the deliverers, Amazon people. I mean, there are just so many people who are working really hard at this time, when a lot of us, if we're not working, we don't really see it. But there's still so many people doing hard work, and I'm just so appreciative of everyone.
Yes, I'm hoping that they're really, with this legislation they're talking about, I don't know what the status is, because I haven't checked in a little while, but I'm really hoping that they're going to protect those folks, because, I had one of my best friends is a nurse, and she's not in emergency care or anything like that, but still she works in a hospital, and I'm worried about her and, her unit, like people come in from off the street, and so I just think it's unconscionable that those folks would not be protected, the people that are on the front lines. And I'm really thankful for them as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm thankful for you taking the time to be on my podcast. I really appreciate you. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, and if they by chance need any PR work, how they can reach out to you.
Sure. On Twitter, it's Cheryl Duncan Co. Same thing for Instagram. And you can find me at www.cherylduncanpr.com.
And of course, you guys can always find my All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to my All the Rage with Shelley Wade channel on YouTube. Like my All the Rage with Shelley Wade page on Facebook. Also follow me on Twitter at Shelley Wade. Don't forget to put that E before the Y. Shelley, Shelley, Wade, Wade. And I'm on Instagram at the one and only Shelley Wade. And you can always check out my blog at shelleywade.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the All the Rage with Shelley Wade podcast. Cheryl Duncan, thank you so much. You've been amazing. You gave us a lot of wonderful tidbits about working at home, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Team Shelley!